It is Syrinx checkup day. If you guys have been following my Syrinx saga, you know that last year at my same appointment for my checkup, I had bad news and my Syrinx had grown in size. If you guys are just watching this video for the first time, you can check out the other videos I've done on my Syrinx, but in case you're just watching this video and you haven't seen any other ones, a Syrinx is basically like a fluid-filled cyst in your spinal cord. And I've had it since I was about 15 years old, and they just keep monitoring it so that the cyst does not grow large enough to damage nerves in my spinal cord that are above my level of injury. So they're trying to protect my hands and all of, the vital functions as you get higher in your spinal cord, like breathing, heart rate, and all that kind of stuff. So last year there was bad news and it had grown quite significantly compared to the first year. I went back and looked at some of my other videos that I had done in the earlier years, and it's actually not much bigger than some of those first videos. So I'm less worried about it than I was last year, but I definitely don't want it to grow anymore. So I hope that it's good news and that it stayed stable this year, because I decided not to have an intervention last year. I didn't want to have surgery or anything like that in order to proactively, I guess, drain the Syrinx or figure out what's wrong with the shunt that was put in that's causing it to not drain, because I really didn't have any significant symptoms, clinical symptoms in terms of strength and numbness or anything like that. And I know that every surgery I've gone into, I've lost something. And I don't think a surgery is necessary, especially when there's a risk that I could lose something in the surgery or get more pain when I'm not really having any clinical symptoms from the Syrinx. So I will take the video, or I'll take the camera in, and hopefully he will let me record at least myself and the screen. He might not let me record his face because he wouldn't let me last year. My old neurologist used to just not care and would let me record, but this new one is a little bit more worried about the rules. So I'll ask him again and we'll see what he says. I printed out a whole bunch of journal articles talking about treatments for spinal or for Syrinxes and the potential causes of them, because there's a couple of things that I want to ask him about. I have a narrowing of my subarachnoid space, which is the space around your spinal cord where the spinal fluid flows, and there's a part that a bone has sort of grown into from my spinal cord when it was healing. And the old neurologist doesn't seem to think that that's a big deal, but I have read article after article saying that any narrowing of your subarachnoid space changes the pressure differential inside of that space. And if there is increased pressure at any point, then it can push fluid from your subarachnoid space into your spinal cord. So I'm going to ask about that, because to me, that's really important. I am currently working on a video all about Syrinxes and all the things that I'm reading in these journal articles. So I will link to that video as well, so that you guys can go watch that, because it's going to be an informative video about what a Syrinx is and all of the different things that I know about a Syrinx, that I've learned about it in the last couple of years. So yeah, you can go watch that if you want more information about what a Syrinx is, or if you've been diagnosed with one and you want some links to really good resources that I've been able to find. So okay, I'm going to get out of my car and go into the hospital, and I will chat with you guys after.
So on the left,
okay,
we have August 26, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
On the right, we have the most recent, which is October 4th of this year. I've tried to match up the different cuts such that they're similar, and this probably about mid-sagittal right here. You can see this one's a little bit blurrier, but so look, the apex or the top of the Syrinx extends to the 3-4 disc right here. So I think the rostral extent is unchanged, and then just looking at the morphology of it, so similar septations behind the 4-5 disc. It's kind of oblique one running up and through.
Maybe that looks a little
through
different.
a couple other levels.
But yeah.
And then the width of the Syrinx below again, a huge caliber Syrinx, but
I'm so curious how
relatively
like
unchanged.
I don't have like, because I feel like that Syrinx is humongous in the, like which, I don't know what the like, oh my god, like the dermatomes are or whatever from those areas. Like I don't know where that innervates. So like, but I can still feel, I feel like I can still feel where that stuff innervates.
Yeah, it's remarkable the degree of function people can have despite clearly losing a bunch of neural tissue. And so I'm just checking the distal extent. So the other side of it right now, you can see it loops down. Again, very similar morphology.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of terminates just above this disc space right here, similarly right here.
Yeah.
So I agree with you and the radiologist. This is totally unchanged over the last year and a couple of months.
Yeah.
That's good news. About your question, so this bony projection that you have into the spinal canal, and this is the site of the main trauma, the damage to your cord.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of things that would have happened at that time that were predisposed to syrinx formation. So one, the pressure. Two, the traumatic injury to the cord would promote hemorrhage.
Mm-hmm.
And subarachnoid hemorrhage, both of which are inciting factors for arachnoiditis and can predispose to syrinx formation. So that's certainly probably the inciting kind of event and pathophysiology associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then having this shunt is quite reasonable. And clearly the second one still seems to be working in the sense that your function doesn't seem to be worse, and the syrinx morphology and size appears to be the same as well. And you raise a good question: is it worth trying to dig away this piece of bone, and what benefit would it give us?
But if you restore the like, oh my god, what was the word that I read in there?
The subarachnoid space.
Yeah, but there was like something in there about like its ability to like handle variant pressures.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're restoring its compliance is the word that I read. Basically, if you restore the compliance in the subarachnoid space, will that resolve the syrinx? Because if we take away the cause, or will it not go away?
Yeah, nobody really knows is the problem. So
where is that, like that bone there? Is that T6?
yeah.
So would we be hurting anything? Because I already have like my spinal cord is entirely damaged there.
There's nothing we can't make worse, unfortunately. So we probably can't injure your cord any worse. But trying to resect this piece of bone.
Oh, trying to get that out.
Technically feasible, but does involve probably a decent bit of blood loss, a fair bit of exposure and instrumentation, like the 3 levels above and below. You wouldn't just want to take this out and leave everything.
Oh. So it's like a giant surgery.
It's a sizable one. It's technically doable, but then the question is, what expected benefit could we offer you for undertaking all that risk?
So like
would it make the
my
syrinx smaller? Potentially, but would it improve your function in any way? Probably not. And so we're trying to make an MRI look prettier at significant risk to you. To me, it doesn't make any sense, but
unless I'm getting like worse.
Exactly.
Okay.
If your syrinx was getting worse and extending, might consider one of your statements trying to open this subarachnoid space by, what I would probably recommend is, rather than trying to dig out this piece of bone, which is again riskier, is it just take the pressure off the back here a little bit more. You can see on this cut right here, this is the axial view of where the bone kind of projects into the space for the cord.
Yeah.
You can see there's some bone at the back here that's kind of present, and a bit of scar there as well. And I'd probably end up taking the back off there, trying to restore some of the subarachnoid space. And
I just got back from my Syrinx appointment, and I just want to take a minute before I kind of give you guys a rundown of how I feel. I just want to take a minute to thank those of you that have taken the time to comment about your own experience with having a Syrinx and give me information on the surgeries that you've had, the treatment that you've had, the doctors that you've had. Specifically, Chip End Time Awakening is your YouTube handle, and the other one is John Haxmeyer. You guys gave me information on the Fauci Institute, Dr. Fauci, and the other one, Chip, that you gave me information on was Dr. Who is he? I'm reading in here somewhere. Dr. Heiss, and I was able to look up both of those things, and I was actually able to find so many peer-reviewed studies about how a Syrinx forms and all of that stuff, and it was those peer-reviewed studies that started from me looking at the things that you guys sent me in your comments and an email that kind of sent me on a trail looking for all of these cool articles and resources about a Syrinx and all of the updated information or latest information about them. So I just wanted to take a minute to thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I would never have had these questions for my neurologist had you not pointed me in the right direction or given me information about your own experiences. So thank you so much. I think it's really cool that the internet can be a place of real community building and information sharing, and who knows, maybe there's people saving each other's lives out there just by sharing their own experiences. So thank you. Now that that's out of the way, I want to say how awesome my neurologist is. I was so worried about changing neurologists. In my previous videos, you would have saw Dr. Broad, and he obviously was aging and retired recently. So now I have a different doctor, Dr. Hockley, and he's amazing. I'm so blessed to have had the care professionals in my life, and the people that keep me patched up have been amazing. So I'm so glad that I was passed along to another really amazing neurologist. So now that that sort of gratitude is out of the way, I'll let you guys know how I feel. You guys saw in the appointment that the Syrinx is really mostly unchanged. So that's good news. It's not like, the more amazing news would be that the Syrinx was smaller, but as long as it's unchanged, it's stable, and it's not causing any clinical symptoms, I'm happy. I was really interested to ask questions about the bone fragment that's sticking into my subarachnoid space, which is the area that your spinal fluid is supposed to flow through. So I asked him the questions about that. He was able to basically say that yes, I was right, that it's probably obstructing the cerebral spinal fluid. It's probably the cause of the Syrinx, but at this point, there is not really anything he would do about it unless I was getting clinically significant symptoms such as weakness, numbness, all of that stuff that would be making my upper body less strong, and then he might consider operating, which I'm totally on board for, because I don't want to have a surgery that could potentially have risks with it, like infection, blood loss, more pain, and all of that stuff after I heal from the surgery, unless I really have to. So at this point, again, it's just like last year. It's a wait and see thing. The uncertainty is the worst part about having something that you're not sure, how it's going to look in however many years. But that is the thing that I've learned to be the most accepting of, because I can't do anything about it. So I will try my best to live each day just for the present and not worry about what's going to happen in the future, whether I'm going to be a quadriplegic or whether my Syrinx will stay stable forever. Who knows? And hopefully I get a good outcome, but if I don't, I think I'll be fine too. Anyway, I'm just rambling. You guys are used to me rambling when I talk to the camera. But I am grateful. Right now, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for no bad news, and I am going to go and hang out with my 15-year-old whose birthday is today, and I am going to spend today feeling very grateful for my family, for my life, and for this beautiful experience that I get to be a part of, which is the disability community. And even though it's challenging, I wouldn't really change it for anything. It's honestly amazing. I love you guys. Thank you so much for always being there to support me. Thank you so much for all of your input and all of your comments about your own experiences with the Syrinx, and for all of your encouragement and love. I will continue to keep you guys updated whenever I have a Syrinx appointment, which is yearly, so I guess I'll catch you back here next year for this same topic. Until then, stay grateful, stay happy, stay healthy, stay awesome.